I know there are a lot of reasons why people believe weird stuff. It's tempting to land on the self-congratulatory solution of, because they're way dumber than I am. But I hesitate to go there because I'm all too aware of the cognitive biases that are inherent in our brains, and also the fact that I'm sure I fall for those biases as much as anyone else does. That said, I was sent a link by a loyal reader of Skeptophilia that left me thinking, okay, that is incredibly stupid. The link was to a story by Brent Swancer over at Mysterious Universe. It was called The Bizarre Tale of the Haunted Website. The bones of the story go something like this. In the 18th century, there was a little girl named, I kid you not, Replesnatas. That is Replesnatas. Repla apparently was born with a birthmark on her face that people said was the mark of Satan, and eventually people started looking askance not only at her, but at her whole family. The dad came to the conclusion that his daughter was possessed, and he locked her in a room full of mirrors to drive the demons out, as one does. But in the morning, he always found that the mirrors were all cracked, and his daughter was as evil as ever. Ultimately, he killed the girl, and then his wife, and then himself. The villagers decided that they weren't willing to give such evil people a proper burial, and so they tied all three of them to a tree and allowed the bodies to rot. Once again, as one does. But Repla was not so easily vanquished. The story goes that she vanished into a mirror, and sometimes when you stare into a mirror, it will spontaneously crack, and then you'll see her standing behind you. Someone started a website about Replesnatas, and people say that the website has a history of crashing and sometimes bringing your whole computer down with it. Even if it loads, the website is pretty freaky, with collages of scary-looking people and a background of hair-raising music that sounds like something that was rejected from The Exorcist for being too weird. And if you go there, you risk gaining Repla's attention, in which case she will then follow you around and potentially kill you. Reading this elicited several responses from me. The first one was that Replesnatas has got to be the least convincing fake name I have ever heard in my life. A third grader could figure out that it's Satan's helper spelled backwards. And the whole girl in the mirror thing is just a variation on the kids' game of Bloody Mary, wherein you stare into a mirror at night and say Bloody Mary 5 times and nothing happens. And a website crashing or a computer acting funny wouldn't really mean anything to me because my computer pretty much does that all the time. And I don't think it has anything to do with a scary girl hanging around, but it may mean that I need a new computer. But I decided to throw caution to the wind and went to the website anyhow, which is unsurprisingly www.replesnatas.com, and I got the following message. Before going to replesnatas.com, there's one more step. By clicking the button below, you'll go through a standard security check, after which you will be redirected to Chrome Store and will be given the option to install Secured Search Extension. This extension will offer you a safer web search experience by changing your default search provider. And my response to that was, how exactly stupid do you think I am? I closed the window, meaning I never got to see the actual page, but at least I avoided getting whatever virus or malware the thing was pointing me towards. I mean, I don't need anything that makes my computer run worse than it already does. Despite this, there are a whole bunch of people who think that Replesnatas is real. In fact, over at Reddit, there's a whole subreddit devoted to her. And the upshot of it all seems to be that you don't want to mess around with her because she's evil. Even if I chose not to try to get into the website, I did a little digging online and found a couple of photographs that were allegedly of her. Yes, I know she supposedly lived in the 18th century before the development of photography. Stop asking questions. In any case, here's one of them. The only problem is that this photograph is actually a photograph of Princess Juliana of the Netherlands, who eventually became Queen Juliana. This would have been less obvious if I hadn't also been able to find an unaltered photograph of it that said Juliana on top of it. Here's another one, which turned out to be a still shot of actress Helena Aviano from her movie Moondial. So old Repla is kind of batting zero here. This hasn't stopped people from posting all about her on websites devoted to true tales of the supernatural, wherein we find out that she appears in mirrors all the time and just kind of generally scares the bejesus out of everybody. Now, I'm not going to fault anyone for slipping into occasional credulity. It's a built-in part of human nature, and as long as we're willing to correct it, there's no real harm there. It happens to me too. On the other hand, to believe in Replesnatus, you have to have the IQ of a Pop-Tart. I mean, I've read some weird claims before, but this one has to win the prize for sheer unadulterated goofiness. So, I'm issuing a challenge to all the supernatural believers out there. Up your game, people. Come on, you could do better than this. Hell, an elementary school student could do better than this. The quality of your claims has really been dropping off lately. Come on, I need some better material to work with. Get with the program. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Our resources are down there. And please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.